What is up, Fortnite Nation? Bow, bow, wow, 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 wow. Hello, hi everybody. I didn't mean to turn that down as like aggressive. Can I? Oh, I can. That's a good thing to know for the future. That's a great thing to know for the future. Hi everybody. Hi everybody. Hi, hi, hi. Anyways, uh, how y'all doing? I'm doing good. I'm having a great time. Thank you so much for the always about fix that spine and water the boy. I will fix my spine right now. Nice and it's not like straight, get a little bit of like a curve to it. And I also get that water. Thank you, thank you. You love to see it. You love to see it. All right. So I'm gonna, as I like to do, start off stream with a like, hey, hi. So like, here's what's kind of going on in my mindset, and this will help you all kind of like understand what is going on here. So, um, I was chilling, right, and like, oh, I've got a stream today, right? Um, but I'm like, I did not want to play any like, so the current two ongoing games we have right now are Lobotomy Corporation and Toho. Love them to dearly. And I was like, I'm just not there in that mindset. I'm like, I want to be creative. We'll get to that, but I'm like, I want to be creative, and I'm like, okay. I'm just like chilling and be like, yeah, it'd be funny if I did the thing on stream, right? Um, and then after half joking it to Uni and half joking it to Jim, they're both like, yeah, do it. So here I am. But yeah. So for context on the creative thing, um, if you follow me on Twitter about a year ago, you more than likely didn't see the post, uh, where I'm like, hey guys, I've got this thing that I've been working on for the last few months, and it's getting close to like being ready. And I'm like so excited to share some news about it, and really kind of like, yeah. Well, here's the thing. That thing that I was talking about was not ready at all whatsoever, not even close. Um, I would not have been able to tell you at the time how actually far away I was to having this thing ready, because I'm still quite a far bit away from having this whole thing ready. And if you've got like any sense of like reading comprehension and all that, you probably know what I'm talking about. Um, so I had started because I really like tabletops. I'm that type of nerd who really likes tabletops. I've played in multiple D&D campaigns. I've played D&D. I've run my own D&D campaigns. I've found indie made tabletops and like learned the rules to them. I want to run a Pathfinder game. That kind of shit where it's like I am well in the trenches of nerdumhood. um but like the kind of like constant, because this is something that I like got into back in like high school. Um and as not really a side effect, but like, I've just been like really interested in like the process and the rules, the logic behind it. And so for like my life since high school, I've always like kind of like worked on my own little tabletops, and not necessarily like high end projects. They're all like small things. Most of them barely get anywhere, right? Uh, but I had like an idea, and I think I don't have like I don't like I'm not a face cam streamer, so I wouldn't turn them on. But I have the books. I came across a book a while ago called Vermis, and it's this like awesome. It's an art piece basically, but it's meant to emulate like old like CRPG, like, oh, this is like the game books, right? And it's got like all the classes, and this it's the like a walkthrough type book. I'm like, I love this setting. And like around the same time as like I was getting really I had already been really invested in like Dark Souls and Elden Ring and all of that. And I'm like, oh my god, I want to make like a tabletop for like me and a bunch of streamer friends that we could like run and have this like setting that's ongoing, right? Um, I more so I wanted to run a tabletop from that, and I was like, well, for this reason, and because a lot of people are going to be newer to tabletops, it's like, okay, I want to try taking like my hand and spinning a like simple as like down to earth as possible tabletop as you can have. And so that's just what I've been working on. And my work's been very slow. It hasn't really gotten too far. Today is like I'm opening up the box, I'm sharing shit. This is just gonna be a creative. I could have done like a co-work and studying one, instead, but I'm just like, I think this is probably the best one because people are gonna be interested in tabletops. Probably be in the tabletop RPGs. I really like this song. I don't know what song this is. Bridges by Stream Beats. I'm fucking with Bridges by Stream Beats. It's really good. Anyways, backtracking just a little minute. But yeah. So today we're just gonna be chilling and we're gonna be working and I'm gonna talk through like my process. This is not the first time that I've. You want to know something hilarious? I literally just started putting down notes for my. This is crazy. This is crazy. Also, welcome in, Gonzo. No, like crazy. I just genuinely, if I was to say that I have, so I'm not. I don't think I'm autistic. I might be autistic. I don't know. But if I was to say I have a hyperfixation, it is on tabletops. I love tabletops and talking tabletops and just like getting into the nitty gritty of rules and like expressions and stuff of like how like oh like this rule and this rule and this. It's so mwah. And like sometimes it's like, oh, they're not like a perfect emulation of, the real life. I'm just gonna the same way, so like take that as you will. Listen, let me cue up my thing. I had a so firstly, we're gonna be doing a bit of a thing because this tabletop right now I'm carrying. There's like two kind of sides to it. It's like I'm working on like the rules, but I have a what the fuck is this? We go from like I really liked Bridges, and now they're playing Downtown. I don't fuck with Downtown. Get out of here, Downtown. There, we can play Paranoia. Yeah, we can play Paranoia. Yeah. So I'm like simultaneously working on like the lore and like the actual like rules. Because sometimes in like a more like like mechanical mindset, and sometimes it's like, oh, I like the setting and all that. Um, there's like both sides of that. I think are really interesting. Uh, Windows, Twitch Vivaldi, not that one. Lore and the like. Yes, that should be the one. Okay, so I'm going to apologize ahead of time. This is going to be a flashbang. I don't have dark mode on Google. I should probably get an extension for it. We're in the trenches. But yeah, flashbang. Yeah, no. So here we are. Um, so I'm gonna like hit you guys with. We're not gonna do like a read through. I'll like explain things as we get to it. But we do have because I did kind of right now my like work for this tabletop has been split between like a local stuff and like stuff that's in my Google Drive and shit. Uh, I am going to do what I can to move. Like part of today is moving all of that stuff over, and I already copied over. I think most of it. Essentially, anything that wasn't local, I think, is already up there. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of like reconfiguring because there happens to be a lot of lore changes in this. Let's see. Mine is so far basically just me taking taking apart Fallout and D&D and making a camping and tree speak simulator law. Yo, that's actually kind of fucking crazy though. That's oh my god. I like that. You? Gonzo? I like that, Gonzo. I like that. You made that that's a good thought process. Anyways, so yeah, for all intents and purposes, this document um is more and Right now I have it formatted like this. Should I have it formatted like this? Absolutely not. Like, oh my god, I can't explain to you how much it pisses me off working in like what I would say close to print format. Um, so probably when I'm like eventually done this, I will have more of a standard layout. But for now, this is what I'm working with. But this is all like the mechanic side of it, and this is more of like the lore shit. Here I've got some like world stuff, bestiary, magic. We'll get back to magic because magic needs a touch up, lore wise. Not that there's really too much, but anyways. Right now, what I need to do is because I have been the bestiary, I think, right now, because this is the most out of date. Because I wrote this ages before I had the concept of what gods are currently. And I've kind of like, this whole process, like, it's just kind of like refining it. Um, but yeah, so I need to like reword this. So what do we have right now? So right now it's beings of infinite energy. Each one has a specific domain that their power can affect. So I don't like that. Unlike devils, gods have a sort of will as how their powers utilized. Gods are yes. So this is from an earlier version where my concept was I wanted them to be like forces of nature. They aren't. However, whatever I decide to call. Oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so dumb. I was like, oh, this was giving me so much like order issues earlier. I was like, how am I supposed to do this? It's because I had the headings wrong in this one. Well, that makes things better for me at least. Heading 3. Okay, awesome. And then we go here. Anyways, so right now, there's essentially like two. The crucifix is also becoming obvious when people are always looking. What is this? Because it was like I was looking at the headings, right, and the headings were bugging me. I was like, what is wrong? Why there's so many layers of headings? And it's because like the gods don't fall under. Basically, for divinity, how like divinity works in this, and I'll work from bottom up, right? So you got the mortal races. Go to them. Go down here. So you got the mortal races. These are like the actual like playable races that are going to be in the game, right? And this is what I have so far. I got the Fae, the Lay, the Man, Orc, Ram, Vea. I don't know why they're all 3 characters. I was just like in a mindset of like I really want them to be 3 characters. So that might change. Um, but yeah, basically all of them. Basically the mortal races use magic, right? Magic standard for like any fantasy setting. I should clarify. This is like a dark like more of a like a dark fantasy setting, at least to the. It's my attempt at a dark fantasy setting. There is a bit of like fantasy, like grandiose fantasy and the like. But I do want this to be more dark fantasy at the end of the day. Um, Dark fantasy, grim fantasy. I'm never sure which one it's supposed to be. Anyways, so right, all the mortal races they use magic. In this setting, if we take a look at this one, the magic document, all magics are derived from the skein. The best way that I visualize the skein is essentially imagine a bunch of kind of invisible threads, or mostly invisible threads that kind of like float about the air. The skin exists as a byproduct of the guides using their power. This is going to change slightly, but it's the same way igniting a torch to create light also produces heat. Essentially, all of the magic that you're dealing with is a functional byproduct of just the god's existence, and like what they're doing. This might change in text, because different. If we look at the bestiary, different races also use divinity. Also, I gotta add this one into here as well. Teehee. Did I have it like that? Yes, I did. Okay. But yeah. So yeah, different races use divinity, and because these different races use divinity, it's like, okay, I want to like all magic kind of comes from their like use of divinity. Their divinity originates in sort of a similar fashion, right? Or more so for these guys. Demons and devils, I'm still like debating on, but we'll come back to those later. Uh, Essentially, what happens is divinity is also formed as a byproduct of the primordials slash orders. I haven't decided the name. I don't know what to call them. I don't want to just call them greater gods or outer gods. That's too like trite. Trite? Is that the word I'm looking for? Trite? 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 Overused. Yes, it's too trite. It's too overused. Not that the primordials is like any less overused. Looks like you had a lot of FromSoft. You had a lot of FromSoft games and way too much free. Belinda, who would have guessed? I've played Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3. I haven't played Bloodborne, which has like the most outer god type bullshit going on. It's also an Elden Ring, which I love Elden Ring. Elden Ring, my beloved. But it's like, you know, Bloodborne so tied with outer gods is like a thing that's like, hey, really important. So it's like, it's really weird that I haven't played that one. But yeah. What is this song? I'm gonna turn you down. Message in a Bottle by Retrony. Retrony. I want blood, but I don't have a PlayStation. So do you greedy bastards, let me own it. For real! Oh my, okay, it sucks. So I own a PS4, but it's just like, I own the rest of my Souls games on PC, and it's like, I don't want to split my collection. It's like, I have it all on PC, and it's like, please, please, let me buy it. It's like, you've done so, Ghost of Tsushima got a re-release. Ghost of Tsushima, fucking God of War, I think Uncharted. Uncharted? Let me check Steam really quick. I think Uncharted is on Steam. I could be wrong though. Yow, that was loud. Uncharted. Yeah, Uncharted is in fact on Steam. Legacy of Thieves collection. It's been available since 2022. Anyways, and I believe Legacy, does this include the first few games? It might only include the last ones. But yeah. It's like, you've been releasing games on Steam. Give us blood, like, from this same era. Uncharted 4, like, God of War, were PS4 games. And, like, I know those ones were, like, in, like, first-party games. I like how we're huge, like, tirade. Those were first-party games, so they're probably a lot easier and a lot less, like, legal mumbo-jumbo to deal with. But it's like, oh my god, come on. You've got, like, Blue Point. What is Blue Point doing? At least let them remake it. Either just port it or remake it. One or the other. Please, Sony. Anyways, yeah. So, the primordials, slash orders, whatever I end up calling them, the OGs for outer gods, these guys are more akin to that like older concept for the gods that I have, where it's like they are just forces of nature, right? Like, that is quite literally how I want them to exist in this setting, is like, hey, this being is just, it is like incomprehensible. It fits that like trope of that, hello Mango, hello. We're working on, I'm being like as nerdy as I can right now. I need like, I feel like I need a stroke or something around me to like contrast properly. Let me see if I can set that up really quick. Where is my little guy? Where's my little guy? There's my little guy. Filters. Can I affect filters? Can I add scroll, render delay, image mask blend? I don't think I can. I think I just have to add something behind me. Gee, it's just like the mango. It's just like the Mangoverse. But yeah. So these ones are, you know, the standard like outer god. They're just forces of nature, right? and with it, their like power is just kind of like so great and so kind of beyond comprehension that it's like they just decide things, right? Gravity exists because of like the outer gods and stuff like that. Is at least my current intention, right? Like they exist as like elements of just the forces of the world. They also have like wills of their own, mind you. Um, but it's more of a like they're just it's yeah words. Um, my idea is I want it to be when they're like when the outer gods are like specifically like yes, I want to like make this specific change. Um, is when divinity gets produced in the same way that the skein is produced as a result of the gods doing their shit. Um, and essentially with enough divinity, right? Enough divinity kind of pooled together in the same way like a planet gets formed out of like astral space dust. Gods form and the like. So gods are a byproduct of a greater god, and then that divinity gets round up and used and then spat out, and that spout out used up divinity is the skein. Damn, I have things to do, but now I want to write some more TTRPG notes. Lol. It's the brain worm. It's the worm in my fucking brain that doesn't stop, and it keeps going. I understand exactly how you feel. Oh my god. I love working on it. Calls it does. I'll just be like, that's why I was like, it was sucked so much. I know. I'm gonna get to writing stuff. I promise. Um, it sucks. It's why I was like, I don't want to play a game because I want to work on a tabletop today. I also wanted to play Minecraft. It was either I want to work on a tabletop or play Minecraft. But I wanted to play a world that I have with Uni, and I'm like, we're already like so many hours into that world that it's like, I'll work on a tabletop instead. Minecraft tabletop. Mine. Never mind, guys. Whole new tabletop. We're starting it right now. Minecraft TTRPG. Anyways, but yeah. So right now, gods exist in this kind of state where it's like, yes, I want to do this. Demons also came from that like older like phase where it's like they were like sense of like gods were like a power, um, more than like an actual character. I say character more than an entity, right? They have an existence, like a persona, so to speak. Um, Demons were kind of like the counter where it's like where gods had like a specific scope they existed within. Demons were like, hey, um, we don't have a scope, but we make deals, right? We have essentially infinite power, um, but we have to like make deals, and they kind of work. They had this like weird career ladder, basically. Demons were working with an MLM, right? And there was that, and then devils were essentially the ultimate counterpoint, where it's like they had a specific scope, but there was my people, but there was no what was it? There's no lid to their power. And so the best way that I can like describe it is essentially just like, when you imagine like I don't know, like death, for example, like one of the horsemen. Um, and it's like, oh, wherever they go, like death follows, right? That kind of same thing. If you had a devil in like this section of the lore, if you were to have like a shadow devil, for example, darkness would like spill out behind them, and like and it would be like unending. Read an unusual fact. Oh, wait. I have 1 second. I'm gonna have to take off my headphones really quick. Because where is it? Where have you gone? There it is. There you are. Okay, so typically, when I do one of these, I have a book called The Book of Unusual Knowledge, and I forget who it's edited by. Uh, it's by Publications International Limited, and that's where I typically read it from. However, however, I was gifted for me and Uni's anniversary a specific dictionary called the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, and this is by John Koenig. 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 I'm not sure to pronounce the last name, but it is obviously, if you can tell, a dictionary specifically around words that describe a feeling, an uncommon feeling. Let me find. Let me find the first entry. I'll give you a few because these ones are shorter. So I'll give you like 3. Some of these are also longer though. I'll give you 3. So this is from the section between living and dreaming, seeing the world as it is and the world as it could be. And our first word is chrysalism. Chrysalism, which is the amniotic tranquility of being out indoors during a thunderstorm. From the Latin word chrysalis, the pupa of a butterfly, pronounced chrysalism. 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 Next we have trumspriga, noun, the longing to wander off your career track in pursuit of a simple life, tending a small farm in a forest clearing, keeping a lighthouse on a secluded atoll, or becoming a shepherd in the mountains, which is the kind of hypnotic diversion that allows your thoughts to make a break for it and wander back to the cubicles in the city. From the German word Straßenzentrum, or city center, plus Pennsylvania German Rumspringa, or for hopping around. Rumspringa is a putative tradition in which Amish teens dip their toes in modernity for a while before choosing whether to commit to the traditional way of life. Pronounced Trumspringa. And finally, we have cryosclerosis, which is additionally a noun, or for the moment you look around and realize that you're currently happy, consciously trying to savor the feeling, which prompts your intellect to identify it, pick it apart, and put it in context, where it will slowly dissolve until it's little more than an aftertaste. From the ancient Greek kairos, a sublime or opportune moment, plus sclerosis, hardening, pronounced kairosclerosis. You know what? Yeah, I'll give you 2 more. You'll get 2 more for this one, Mango. 2 more. You're getting a great deal here. It's just because there's an actual page break before it goes into a thing. So I'll just read it because it's here. We have scabulous, which is an adjective for proud of a certain scar on your body, which is like an autograph signed to you by a world grateful for your continued willingness to play with her, even if it hurts. From scab plus fabulous. And then we have oculism, noun for the awareness of how fundamentally limited your senses are, noticing how little of your field of vision is ever in focus, how few colors you're able to see, how few sounds you're able to hear, and how intrusively your brain fills in the blanks with its own cartoonish extrapolations, which makes you wish you could experience the whole of reality instead of only ever catching a tiny glimpse of it, to just once step back from the keyhole and finally open the door. From Italian occhiolino, little eye, the original name that Galileo gave to the microscope in 1609, pronounced occhiolism. How wonderful was that? We learned together. I think I like reading this one a little bit more than the other one because this is their definitions, right? Anyway, little tangent aside, back to tabletop. Pee pee poo poo. For real, pee pee poo poo. I'm losing it. But yeah. So for gods, I know I want them to be that they're born from divinity. So beings born. Also, please forgive my typing. I fuck up typing all the time. Please forgive me. Beings born from the raw, unfiltered divinity that exists as a response I'll use byproduct here again. That exists as a byproduct of the I don't know what to call it. Primordials orders. Does anyone have a preference between primordials orders or like outer gods? Should I just choose outer gods because it's so basic. I like orders. I think orders are the one that I like the most. So I'll go with orders from now. And then I can change it later on, obviously. Like, it's a name at this point. Thou shalt not be forgiven of the sin of typo. No. Orders is based. All right, awesome. Because they also like the orders because it's like, number one, it's an order, right? And primordials are mine. Beings born from the raw and filtered divinity that exists as a byproduct of the orders. Direct. Orders is pretty cool. Okay, peak. I'm glad that orders has a gang of fans. I'm gonna remove this space. I don't fuck with that space. It can be between the actual entries, but I'll have it like that. Beings born from the raw unfiltered divinity that exists from the coagulation. Easier to distinguish. No, I spontaneously combine. Now I spontaneously. No, I can't believe this. He's fucking dead. Beings from the what's the word for when like planets from the amassing when the planets kind of like spin together and like I don't want to use gravity. What's a better word than gravity? I know there's a word for it. That's just pissing me off. I'll use collapse temporarily. Describe it. It's like when a planet. So when planets exist, there's like a bunch of like or just any astral body. There's like a bunch of space dust, and then it like spins together. And as it spins together, it kind of gets more and more compressed until eventually it forms the solid, whether that be a star, a planet, or whatever, right? I think it's just collapse. From the collapse, accretion. Maybe I'll use accretion. I just copied and paste. Let me double check that and make sure it's the process of growth or increase, typically the gradual accumulation of additional layers of matter. Yeah, nice. I like it. From the accretion of the beings born from the accretion of divinity, or accretion from the accretion of divinity. I'll do mass accretion of divinity. A byproduct of the order's direct. Oh fuck! This word. Why so many words escape me? Direct intervention on the mortal plane. All right. So that's the current distinction. I do like demons existing as this kind of like trade idea. Devils, I'm not sure. But I'm fine with this. I'm fine with them all kind of. Maybe I'll keep them how they are. I think gods are gonna follow the pattern that I already have set though. Their existence reclaims the divinity that they comprised of and have become capable of reincarnation. though this process sheds some yeah. So basically, as like part of it, they lose some of that raw divinity every time they reincarnate. Because I'm thinking it's like this is a thing where it's like if the players wanted to, they could go hunt God. Horrible decision, mind you, but you could go hunt God. God walks amongst man. Um, and they will fuck you up. But yeah. So every time they die, they shed a little bit of this divinity. They still come back. They retain their will, their thoughts, but they do come back. Um, Death is just kind of like a part of their natural cycle. It's just a stepping stone on it, rather than a culmination. That this process sheds a portion of the divinity that formed them. Yeah, and I like that gods use this. Okay, God, that's God's unique thing is that they reincarnate. They have a set established like this is my entity, my existence that I think. Demons and I think devils, I don't want to. Devils, I want them to be attached to a concept, right? They exist with uh this. All of them are gonna have this opening line. So I'm gonna put that down there. So now I've got like the old text separated a little bit. So hmm. I'm kind of I like I like the trade thing. I really do. I really do like the trade thing. One second. Let me mark let me heading these other ones as well. Heading 2, heading 2, heading 1. There's got to be a quicker way to put headings on, right? Control Alt. Oh, nice. Thank you. Control Alt 1 and then Control Alt 1. There we go. But yeah. Technically, by this definition, the orders would fall under infernals, but I'm gonna say it's a little bit different. On the mortal plane, I'll have this on the realms. Because that way it's like, oh, if there's other realms, right? It doesn't it doesn't cause an issue for that. So there can be a mortal realm and then other realms. Infernals are anything that's not from the mortal realm. Right? If you were to think of it in D&D terms, it'd be like anything from any of the hells or like the celestial places, anything like that, they would all fall under the term infernals. Um yeah, I think that's good. I'm gonna pause right there. Quickly hop over to world. Was there something that I wanted to do over here? No. I'm dumb. I'm stupid. I'm dumb and stupid. Okay. Demons. Um seems good to activate. Demons have a lower cost to activate. Because it's like this is too like mathy. And it's like I do like math, but it's like it doesn't feel like natural. Um so I wanted it's like how do I make the demons How do I make demons make sense? I could just have it be demons like will use their like, whereas gods, I think I like that. So gods, they have the divinity, it's like tightly bound to them, they keep it, right? Um and then eventually like they die, right? And then they come back. Demons, however, they have their divinity. Uh However, they don't they don't keep it. They instead will they'll trade it away, right? They each have their own like personas, and essentially whatever they want, whatever they deem as worthy, right, for their like divinity, they'll accept as a trade, and then give you something kind of like of equal power formed directly from their divinity. Because essentially every trade you make with a demon is eating away some of its life force, so to speak. I think that's the best way to do that. Because then it's the most balanced, where it's like it's got kind of this lower thing while also being like it does the thing that I want. It does make them all. It no, I think that gets rid of the archdemon bit. Yeah, I like that. This was too gamey, so we're gonna change this. Um, uh, their existence. What's the word I'm looking for? Basically, they want to. So okay, so trading. I thought I heard like the Spotify, not Spotify, the Samsung like do 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 like wake up alarm. I was like, whoa. I don't even use that alarm, so I don't know why it fucked with me. So I know I want trading. Um, Trade for divinity, basically. That's divinity, 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 da Vinci. So being of the massive creation that existed by part of the orders, direct intervention on the realms. Um, their existence carries a set amount of divinity. Um, Over the course of their lives. They will trade. They will trade it off to sate their desire. I'll just use desires for now. It's just right now demons are very much over the course of their lives they will trade to sate their desires, um leading to their inevitably leading to their death. Um because they're trading it off, I should write in this their trades are special. Do I want to say specialized? I don't think that's what I'm looking for. Due to this, their trades are personal. A more personal matter. There, I like that. Then I think that separates them. It's like, yes, here's my that awesome. It's like, oh, you have apples. I really like apples. Thank you. And I think it also that things demons and devils. I might flip up. I might put devils up here because I feel like devils are historically associated with the trade. Um, and I think that does. I think that does work because my another. Sorry, let me interject again with my thought process with like the bestiary. My thought process is I want to, if I'm gonna have something that exists, I want to try shifting it in some way. I don't want it to be just like a standard, like, oh, for example, the ghost is the only example I have here. So it's like, oh, ghost. In this setting, they're the embodiments of memories given life through the skein, right? So the magic is like fueling this memory to exist. Then it's faded with time as the memories that are formed them are forgotten. However, they can feed on memories of other creatures to prolong their existence. Thank you so much for the fix that spine in the water, boy. Nice. Anyway, from this like point of view, it's like I want them to be ghosts are just a thing that happen naturally. However, uh and like they kind of like in the same way that if you've seen what is it, Coco, uh people in, I don't remember what the afterlife is called in that film and that religion belief system. I'm assuming I think they would count under religion. I just don't know what it's called. Anyways, um, in the same way that as you're forgotten, you fade. The ghosts follow this same kind of mindset, and that's what I want to kind of keep doing with this system, right? I want everything that's got like an existence that exists outside to have its own, whether even if it's just like a small twist. I want that to exist because that's just what I want. And I think I like this caveat that when you're making a deal with the devil, you are they're quite literally giving away some of their life, right? So it's not like just a thing where it's like, oh yes, you're gonna get, I'm gonna get your soul. It's not just like a greed thing. It's like if they're making a trade with you, this is something that they want, right? That they really really want. Like it has some like ingrained value to them, and I think that works. Um, Demons. I do like the idea that I have here. I do like the uncapped, like the idea where it's like power without restraint, right? I do like that, but I need to figure out how that works in this setting. I think it's I almost think it's right to say that demons uh what I'm almost leaning towards is that demons they also don't resurrect, obviously. Nothing besides gods, or sorry, reincarnate. They Gods only reincarnate. They share existence, but they do something similar. Where if you were to where it's almost like, hey, like a if you were to have a demon that exists, like for example, it's a shadow demon. There isn't a persona there. It is just an embodiment of this concept given life through divinity. And because of that, um because it's just this concept, that demon can die, but it can come back again. It's not the same thing. Like it doesn't share a memory with its previous state. It hardly has a person. I almost hazard to say that it has a persona in the first place. Um, but like when it comes back, it's like its own new being. You could have more than one shadow demon, right? Or like a light demon, for example. I associate them with like negative concepts, but they can be a demon of anything. um, oh, I remember why, because I had devils here because the concept thing, and I wanted like almost like a pseudo reference to a pseudo reference. It was a reference in a sense to Chainsaw Man, and how the devils represent concepts in that. That's why I had it named that way. I'll keep demons. I'll keep demons. I like how shadow demon sounds. They gives a very like almost like a nefarious, right? And it's like they could be a positive concept, right? You could be a demon, you could be a love demon, right? Which just radiates an aura of love and harmony, right? Like to almost a malicious, to essentially they're like a negative creature, right? Demons are inherently a negative creature. Devils 50-50, right? Um, Same with like right, devils 50-50. They're like they have persona. Demons are a negative creature only in the sense of like their power is fundamentally not a good thing. You can't just have infinite love and everything works out, right? Like infinite love will bring problems, right? It will bring a strife of its own that has to get dealt with. Um, so being born from the mass accretion of divinity that exists as a byproduct of the order's direct intervention on the realms. I love it. Very, I love I gotta thank you again, Gonzo. I love the word accretion. You made a great choice on that. Thank you so much for this suggestion. Uh, just want to make sure that there's no extra new lines. I don't know. I'm very pedantic with stuff like that. Um, Unlike, do I want to have them exist as like a contrast to gods and devils? Yeah, for now. No. Existence is the presentation of concept. They exist as a formulation, maybe? Of a natural concept? Of the world. An overwhelming aura of that concept. Into the surrounding area. It should be they. I don't know why. Sometimes it'll autocorrect me and sometimes it'll put that. The existence of formulation of a natural concept of the world, endlessly spewing forth an overwhelming aura of that concept. An overwhelming aura into the surrounding area. Yeah. I think for now, that's the best way to describe it. So it's been refined. I want to hop over to rules. I really have to take it off of this formatting because it gets really annoying to keep it like this. I've got nothing in the in-dev stuff right now. Cause so yeah, as I said earlier, this one is the most akin to like an actual. This is in like book format. Should I have it in this? No, absolutely not. Don't do this. Get all your stuff written down. I don't know. This is just how it was easiest to for my mind when I was doing it. The party and the guide. So right now you've got your strength, efficiencies, performing checks, outcome of a check. All of this I think is good in its current state. I've been unable to get a playtest running. I really need to do that soon. Um, like this has been on the docket of getting a playtest for like a couple months, and I just haven't gotten around to sorting it out. Um, all your equipment, additional traits, modes of play. Here, I want to organize this one. I want to better format you because it's pissing me off a little bit. Because basically I've got these three modes of exploration, preparation, and confrontation. confrontation, obviously being combat, has the most like rules. I'm fine with that. But here I have all of this. And I'm almost thinking maybe it would make more sense to have like a table. I think you know what? A table would probably work the best because I'm just like oh, you know what? Let me also so I'll make my table. Uh example. My stupid ass colors that I've chosen. So let's see. We have why you oh hello? Did how did I switch you over to I have to figure out how I switched my keyboard over to hello? Uh, how switch? I swear it happens sometimes and I don't know exactly how. Like I think I just accidentally press a combination for context on to why I have Japanese keyboard. It's because I was learning Japanese for a while, but aside from that, Windows has this awesome thing that you can use. Well, sorry, you can use it if you're not on the Japanese keyboard for some reason. That lets you like pull text out of an image, for example. Like I could pull text from here, but it only lets you do one. Thank you for the water, the boy. It only lets you do that if you have the thing. And how do I do this? How 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 how, how? So I know what the keyboard input is supposed to be for this, and it's window. Is it control Windows? No. How do I do? I don't know how to turn it off. No. 1 second. Let me. I have to switch up on my phone. Then I think that's the only option that I really have. How to change keyboard Windows, keyboard language Windows, shortcut. Alt Shift can also be used. Oh, why is Alt Shifted? Okay, that I'm gonna unbind that really quickly. I'm making it basically impossible for me to switch languages. Uh, keyboard manager. Why do I have that as that? This should be T. I should take the. Cause that just shows that. That's so lame. Let me add a new shortcut. Windows left shift. Okay. And that's it. And I just want to disable it. Disable. Let's go. Okay. Oh, it won't let me just do Windows or is it Alt Shift? Was it Alt Shift? Best viewer, get out of here. Get out of here. I don't care about your best viewers. Your best viewers mean nothing to me. The best viewers are the viewers that are currently on the stream right now. And all the ones who want to keep watching. Hi guys. I love you all. By the way, if you've been enjoying the stream, go check out my Discord, and it'll let you keep up to date on what's going on with me, my streams, all that kind of stuff. I'm doing my best to keep it as active as possible. Um, I'm doing my best. Hello, hi, Bolts. Hi, hi. Can I? If I do this properly, and Alt Shift. So why can't you be remapped? Okay. I also apparently removed a thing. Alt F4? Oh my god, Alt F4. I love Alt F4. But yeah. So going back to here, I can type again. So action. Take ease, and I want to do perform skill. That's another one. And then I want to delete these two. I love cleaning up stuff. It's like actually like some of my favorite stuff. Table options. Let me just delete two rows. There we go. Alt F4. I'm not pressing Alt F4. That's silly. Silly. I'm not silly coded. No damage is dealt. Perform a skill. Let's see. Choose a skill. A skill and roll the associated check. There we go. Right now, those are the only damage dealt. I'll write this as description. Okay, so down here, we're now on the preparation one. Focus points. I'll sleep for 6 hours, removes all conditions, and restores focus points. Slumber. This one's going to be craft. Let me insert row below. Sell, and I want these to be. I want this one to be the darker one. Down/off armament. There we go. And then those ones can go. Do it. I'm not Alt F4ing. No. Like it wouldn't matter. I'm on a browser, but like all my stuff saved to the cloud. like it doesn't even. Okay, so I pressed Alt F4. It just asked me to confirm if I want to close the window. It didn't even let me. So how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm gonna just copy you and retrofit you, because it'll be a better one. So action, description. This is a cover of the one set. Man, Alt F4 is going soft these days. It is weak. It used to be much better. So move, attack, use skill slash spell, use armament slash item, and then once again we're gonna grab this donned off equipment. So then we're just gonna grab all of these, and then all of these should move over nicely. There we go. What is the distance like there? And it's got a much better page fit now too, because this was so fucking big. Travel half your strength die. Let me better format this one to give it the highlight that it has. Is it the red highlight? No, I have the more red one. That one. There we go. Travel half your strength die in meters. Can be used repeatedly. I should just write it with the. Yeah, I think when I eventually get around to like organizing this, because I think this is right now good for a playtest. All of these traits can apply. A lot of these traits, sorry, can apply to like more like really different actions. Like for example, quick lets you make, a weapon attack more than once per turn. So it'd be really quick to say like just has the quick trait, right? I forgot how good tables were. I don't know why I didn't think of a table before now. Oh, let me also center this. I'm a big fan of properly organizing my shit. Cause it's like if I'm gonna make a system, right? I want people to read my system and like actively be able to read it. You get what I mean? Like I don't want the reading of my system to be the hassle. I want playing it and like the any situation where it's like, oh, there's like some difficulty to exist within the setting, right? So that players are dealing with confrontation, not with haggling the system to get what they want. And in my mind, that includes grasping with the rules. Um, Social interactions. I'm gonna download this doc, make it look horrible, and then no, no. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Yeah. Um. Fun fact: this social interactions table was stolen from a different tabletop that I also made. um. Or yes, this one was stolen from a different one that I also made. Can I pull it up? Actually, we're gonna take a brief tangent. I know like no work has been done, and I think that's just like a conflict of just like how I am as a person. Uh, but yeah, in a very similar, I could open up a new page like this. I don't think this has any compromising information about myself in it. It shouldn't. I don't typically write compromise. Nokia, yeah, Nokia. So just as a warning, so this one is. Can you open up, please? Do I have to drag you onto the URL, maybe? Why won't you open up? What? I'll open you with like that. All right. Yeah. So for quick context, I did not care about aesthetics for this one. This system was pretty much just kind of like thrown together. Um, with this bum ass table of contents. Uh, and shit's just kind of like wherever I felt like it. I don't think the colors are right here. I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be more of a color thing there. This one was for a tabletop. That was kind of trying to think what it was loosely based on. It was, I think, it was another dark fantasy. I just don't know what I was basing it off of, like what was in my mind at the time. Um, I think I just thought of like a really cool line, and then I just kind of ran with it. Uh, yeah, social relationship. Here it is. I have a rule, a whole. This is how bad this tabletop is. I have a whole ass rule in the glossary. Social relationship. Terminating how an NPC perceives a PC, which can alter the attitude and difficulty of charisma checks related to the NPC. All reputations from worst to best are hostile, distrusting, neutral, trusting, friendly. As well, no matter how an NPC's social relationship with a PC, a successful check will not make an NPC act out against their wishes. Which is a rule that I hold, that I've kept. When you're doing NPCs, it's important to keep your relationship level in mind. This is also not just in a glossary. Crazy that. But it's got friends, actively support the party, and may put their life in line to help. Trusting, they're inclined to support the party when the chance arises. Neutral, they have no opinion of the party. Distrust, they are inclined to hinder the party when the chance arises. And hostile, they will actively hinder the party and may attack on sight. It is also important to note that no matter how good a check you make, an NPC of any relationship level will stick to their key morals. Additionally, depending on how an interaction goes in an NPC, the relationship may temporarily raise or lower for the duration of the interaction, or if it would fit, the change can become permanent. I.e., it's like a because in my mind it's like I want to reflect the idea of like, oh hey, like you can have a situation like a falling out with your friend where it's like you like really piss them off, right? And so it's like, they might drop down to like, oh, like fuck you equivalent, right? Like, and not really like the terms aren't like the greatest because obviously it's like, oh, um, but it's like you might get into a point where it's like your friend where it's like, oh, you fight, right? Like a fight, but like that might only be like a temporary state and you might come back. It's like, oh, hey, we're friends, right? Though if I'm just gonna say if you had a situation at tabletop where you're friends and the drop down to hostile, if it went back up post fight, I wouldn't jump it back up to friends. I'd jump it back up to trusting. Personal opinion. Personal opinion. That is my personal opinion on how that should be run as the developer of the system. And then I just got the conditions. I got stuff like just thrown down here. Just where I think it fits the best. This should be die. Travel half your strength die in meters, can be used repeatedly. Attack, choose an equipped weapon and make an attack. Can be used again if attacking with a different weapon. Expend focus cost and use the skill or spell. Can be used again if choosing a different skill or a D4 spell. Oh, I forgot that multi-spell casting. Oh, another important thing to note about this system is... Oh, it's in here. I guess that would make sense it's in here, because it's a confrontation rule. So basically, when you're like doing your shit, right? So confrontation is like the tactile mode, which is why there's so much text. When negotiations break down or a horde of monstrosities ambush you, the party should be in the confrontation mode. This mode of play is meant to cover more tactile moments where each decision can change the outcome of an encounter. Time flows significantly slower, with each round taking roughly 6 seconds of in-game time. Hello, don't do that. That's the standard. I was tempted to switch it up. What if I fight IRL? You want to fight? You want to fight IRL? Yo, want to fight? You want to fight? We can fight. No, I wouldn't fight you. I love you too much, Bolts. You're a real one. You're a real one. I was tempted on like switching around the time scale. But I think what it was the Dungeons and Dragons movie where they have a round of combat like in roughly like 6 seconds time, and it's like, wow, goddamn. Like, mind you, that in that bit they're just beating a guy down, right? But I was like, I really liked that. Um, so yeah, when the confrontation mode rounds follow the initiative order. So this is a system. Another thing to note: I've stolen a lot of this. Like, this is an amalgamation of just different bits and pieces that I like. Um, and I'm not intending to. I don't think I'm intending to sell it. This system, so I'm more blatant with it. This initiative system was because I wanted to avoid the like the annoyance of like, oh well, like each I want to get rid of like all of like the fat, right? I don't like rolling for initiative. No one likes rolling for initiative. It kind of sucks, right? And so basically I've broken it down to you have fast turns and you have slow turns. Where basically a fast turn you can take it first, but your limit, so allies always go first, hostiles go second. I might add a like a like a legendary creature thing to go first, but yeah. So it would be, oh, like fast legendaries, then all the fast, then fast, like then the slow equivalent of all of them. But basically, when you're on your fast turn, if we go, any character can opt to take a fast or slow turn when the option is presented by the initiative order, but must follow all limitations. When you're taking your turn, you can perform two actions. However, an action cannot be repeated unless otherwise stated. Additionally, if an action is arduous, that is the only action that can be taken. If you're taking a fast turn, only one of your actions can be an attack, skill, or spell, and you are unable to perform any arduous actions. So basically, it's when you're doing a fast turn, it's mostly for a circumstance of it's like, oh, I want to like run and attack this guy really quick, right? Like, it's really good for like getting right into like the heat of combat, or like moving out of combat, is my idea. That's kind of like the flow that I want to like deal with. Is like, you can get in there, you can get a hit off, but then your like slow hostile is gonna come up and they're gonna have two attacks on you. Or you could like, oh, I can move in and thing, or I can use an item, or it's like, hey, I need to heal really quick, right? I don't want to risk like a hostile guy hitting me, so I'm gonna heal really quick, and then we'll get back to it. Or you might just want to be like, oh, I want to like switch out gear really quick. So I like this. This was taken from, I think it was a playtest of not Dune. I think it was the Mistlight Archives. I think that was the tabletop. Stormlight Archives. That's it. There's a Stormlight Archives tabletop. Yeah, the Cosmere RPG that I was reading through, and I liked that one. I liked that rule set. There were some bits of it that I didn't care for, but I liked that initiative order. And it's not like the first time I saw it. I just liked, because I've had other ones. I think this one might have even had a initiative of allies first, enemies second. If that's even in here, I think it is. Weapons and attacking, positioning, initiative and actions. Fellow combat is broken into rounds and turns. A turn is represented with the period of time where a character is leading the flow of combat. A round is a term used to refer to all combatants' turns. Combatants take their turns in the following order. Yeah, so this is boss type and major enemies begin the round. The player party then takes their turns in whatever order they feel, then minor enemies finish off the round. So basically really the only thing that I was taking was the fast system. Because I do like the fast system. It was a good concept. They implemented it differently because I think Cosmere had a 3 action system similar to Pathfinder. And I was like, oh, I don't want to just bring mine down to like you only get 1 action, right? Like I could, but I feel like that's too similar. So I liked this system, and obviously, if I find it's too broken, it might just become a it might just become a 1 action one, just to balance it out. Because again, you're basically paying for the like I need to get in really quick. There are certain bits of this where I like how it's like the wording of this I think is a little bit better. It's very descriptive. So I think that's something I'm gonna need to carry over to like this actual rule book because I feel like this rule book takes a lot of like, hey, you as a player, you know what I'm talking about. Um Also, funny thing, a different friend of mine. I'm not gonna say their name because I don't want to. I don't want to out them to the degree of nerdity. But they were also working on a TRPG. Um, and they were talking about combat, and so for Farlands, I decided to go with like grid-based combat because I think it just works better for this system. But that might change. But in this old one that I had basically this was another stolen mechanic. Uh, but it was from a unofficial Dark Souls role playing game where there was combat ranges and there was a bunch of stuff for that. And I really liked the idea of combat ranges, where essentially, you have you have these like different like you've got like your field, like you've got the fight right that you're like working in, and then you're either like you're right in the middle of it, you're kind of like step back a bit, or you're all the way in the back. And he was talking about it, was like he's got his whole system, and it had something kind of similar where it's like oh like you've got like close range stuff and you got far range stuff, and I was like that's so funny, like thinking to myself it's like because I think he saw this system because he played a session of it, but it was so long ago. I don't think he remembers. So I was just like, that's really funny. That's really funny. Um, but yeah, but no. Anyway, back over to here. Um, what's in? Why are you? Hello? Is it because I'm so zoomed in? It is weird. That's so we- That's so weird. You think it would just tuck under the side panel and not like to move the side panel out of the way? I was like, what? Am I going crazy here? Like, yeah, all of this needs to get reorganized. I need to figure out a better like logical order for all of this because right now my plan is I want to have like when you read the book, you get lore. Like you can get the world, the lore, like the big kind of major bits, like right here at the front. Then we go into like actually like playing the game and stuff. So we go into all the rules. Then like the making of your character. I just realized I don't think I've said the name of this system once. It's called Farlands. I haven't said it once this entire stream. But yeah, then you go into character creation down here, and this is all gonna be together. I think I'm gonna go Arcanus. I like Arcanus. Or maybe I'll do Mechanus. Mechanicus. I can't do Mechanicus because that's Warhammer. I'll keep it. I'm not sure on that name for that class. Or vocation. But yeah, then you got all your vocations down here. This is like a very temporary. This is a very temporary like setup. I'm gonna get this a lot better eventually. Um, but because this is just gonna be a big old list of like all your different like traits and skills, basically being like your passives and your actives, right? For each vocation. And then past this, it's gonna be a like items, spells, items and spells and stuff. And then past that, I want to place a bestiary. So the final version is gonna have a lot. I've got like a plan sort of out, just for like just the playtests and stuff right here. But right now, one of the vocations, which I'm like, I can't believe I don't have a vocation done. Like this, the only spell casting focused one. I love witches. Like they're my favorite. That's why it's called a witch and not like a mage. It's like witch. I just love witches, like a trope, the big pointy hats and shit. I think it's so cool. I love witches. Sorry, sorry. I had to get that. I had to get that out there. Witches are awesome. I don't know if I ever said it on stream. I fucking love witches. But they're not done because the class or the vocation is so reliant on spells. It's so reliant on spells, like it's innately tied to the class. That I'm like, yeah, I have it here in the playtest. Like you can choose it, but it doesn't work. So with that, my intention is to have that in playtest too, with some at least some spells. I don't think I'm gonna have all spells in, like not for a long time. Playtest 3, I'm gonna hate myself for making. But yeah, so starting spell list, the witch starting skills. Oh, I don't have a leveling system, right? Maybe I'll do that. I might as well like work ahead if I'm gonna be here. Um, because I've got this like add interrogation mode to expand on social interactions. Because that was initially a thing, but I don't know how I'd expand on it. Like I could add, because my idea for it, because I do remember, it's coming back to me a little bit, was essentially I wanted to have. Oh, thank you so much. I had just taken a drink too, but I'll bottoms up, thanks. I think my is this Fly Me to the Moon? It is Fly Me to the Moon. I love from Squid Game. Anyway, I wanted to do something. I think it was from. I think I was inspired by a TikTok I'd seen, where basically their context, the context of it was like, oh, you should treat social interactions like they are a fight, right? So kind of like almost like they have an HP bar. That's like their morale or whatever, how you want to morale, their confidence, whatever, that you're either like breaking down to get your way. And it's like, I do like that. I think it's an interesting way, but I'm like, now that I'm here, now that I'm here doing my own thing, I'm like, I don't think that works the best, if I'm entirely honest with you. Yeah, don't you know that Frank Sinatra was in Squid Game? I didn't know he was in Squid Games. It shows you how bad of a how bad of a Frank Sinatra fan I am. But yeah, it's like I do like it. I like the concept, but I think it works best in concept and not codified rules. And I think that that's the thing that I have to like deal with and like process in my head, that some things work as a concept if you treat them a certain way in concept, but don't like rulify them. Because once there's rules to it, or I could pull the fucking overarms thing, or whatever. I can't remember. I can't remember what the dev of overarms is called, or the writer of overarms is. where it's like, oh, these are the rules, but like change it however you feel like. I could do something like that. But once you like, in my mind, once you like set rules and like hammer those in, it's like, oh, these are the rules. This is what you're supposed to do. It's like there's an expectation, and I think social interactions, especially in TRPGs, are so nuanced that specifically adding rules for social interactions um might be too much for the system. Like I do have this, and I think this is like a good guiding point, because like all things considered, this is like this is still, also it helps when certain information like that is obfuscated. Obviously, like a DM could be like, oh yeah, you're now friends with this NPC, right? And then like give that information to the party. I use DM. I really have to get out of the D&D terminology, and at least use more thing. I didn't see. You're stealing my social interaction table? Wow. You know what? I was so kind to not out you earlier for being a nerd. Now I'm gonna out you. You're a nerd. Fucking nerd. Anyway, hi Jim. Hi. Take it back. No, you're a nerd. The nerdiest nerd. He's working on a tabletop system, guys. He's working on a point and laugh at him. Point and laugh at him. He's working on a tabletop system. Yeah. Oh, no, yeah, sure, take it. I stole it from myself, too. It's from the fucking Tewu. Oh, I'll say it again. So remember when you were telling me about the I'm stealing your table at double. Remember when you were telling me about like how you wanted combat to work in your tabletop? And how there's like there's like the groups, and there was like close fighting and far fighting and stuff like that. I was like, in my head, I was like, oh my god, that's so similar, kind of in concept, because Tewu had something like it. And it's not the exact same. Because there was like a bunch of like other stuff that like followed under it. Oh, thank you so much for the fix. That's fine. I was sitting all gaily. But I was just like, oh my god, that's such a coincidence. Wow. And like it's like I was telling everyone earlier that it's like I do, like it's like I'm sure he doesn't remember it. So it's like I'm not like he's stealing from me. He's like I don't even have the grounds to say I'm stealing so much stuff from so much other things. But yeah, weird. Good social interaction table. I don't think I stole this from anything. I think this one was just from Tewu. Oh wait, it might be a simplified version. I think D&D might have had something that's similar. I don't have the rules up. And I'm not gonna go digging for the rules because it could be anywhere in that fucking book. There might have been something similar in D&D or Pathfinder that I think I might have simplified down a little bit or expanded on. It might have been expanded on. Yeah, I think it was expanded on. I don't know. I don't recall. This is what I ended up, because I was like, it's the most balanced and makes the most sense. You got 2 friendly, 2 negative, or 2 positive, 2 negative, and a neutral. Because it works the best for most scenarios, right? Because it's like, and like random person, right? Like like this is your coworker, or schoolmate, something like that, and then this is your friend, right? And like a strong ally, right? And then there's like, hey, I just like the mirroredness of it. Is like you can have someone who's like wants to cause you problems just passively, just entirely off of like a relationship level. Like, well, I don't like you, And so if the opportunity arises, if the opportunity arises, I'm not gonna go out of my way to, cause you a problem. But if I'm in a situation where it's like, well, I have to press a button and one person dies and the other, or the other one dies, um, and you're one of the people, it's like, well, you know, yeah. Um, taking damage because I have this. Because I do think I like how this is organized. Because I have the modes of play here. Because I have to figure out the best way to have all this organized. So playing the game, I instantly open up with the dice pool. Um, because I think that's the most important. And this goes over all of the dice that are going to be used. I've got to head out now, unfortunately, but glad I could stop by for a little bit. Have fun. No. Awesome. Step out. Enjoy your day. Have a good thing. I don't even know what the fuck you're doing. Do good. I'm having a great time. See ya. But yeah, I've got all the different dice that you use here, and then I just kind of threw in oh yeah, these are the stats. Your stats are tied to a die. So you're going to have a D6, a D8, and a D10 stat. And then you've got your different stats. You have strength, finesse, and mind. And each of those have 2 proficiencies. Did I write it as a skill check? I did. Fuck. Cause I could have it be, I guess I could have it be perform a check. Perform check. Choose a proficiency and roll the associated check. And I think that's the best way to word it for now. Because you could just do a default strength check, or an athletics, or an endurance, or a melee check. One of them. It's very simple. Then I go from stats and proficiencies to inefficiencies, or efficiencies and inefficiencies. Basically just being like, hey, this is a thing that exists. But I don't actually explain what it is. And when I get to performing checks, this is where I say, hey, if you have a proficiency or you have an efficiency, you roll an extra dice. Or if you have an inefficiency, you roll a lesser dice. I don't think they stack. I don't remember if they stack. I don't remember if that was my intention or not. Then I got my different check results. All right, yeah. I zoned the fuck out. So yeah. I got distracted. Interrogation mode, I think I'm going to strike that one out. Is it okay to do that on here? How do I strike out? Format? Text? Strike through. There we go. Nice. Add slumbering instruct as preparation actions. Are they not there already? Did I already add them? I just throw them in prior? Oh. Well. Oh, I didn't, fuck. Documents not ready for offline. Let me scroll down to. Is this gonna have? Awesome. I just need this piece of text. because I need you. I use collecting materials to craft items. Craft items. And then those are both there. I think it was Alt Shift 5. Okay. Let's just look at the plans really quick. So I can either so do I want to re-add skill and spell slot limits? So for quick context, what I initially had in mind was that in the same how in D&D you've got certain classes have like, oh, you can prepare so many spells. I was like, oh, what if you had something like that, but for your skills and your spells, right? So you have this, everyone's always got their like access to this list. However, they're not like locked out. Oh, also another thing about, just a quick thing about this system. You're not technically ever locked out of a thing. You can, like, anyone can use any weapon or cast any spell. You could be full sent, what's my fighter equivalent? I'll just use, you can be a full sent berserker, right? Solely strength focus, right? Like, strength is your main stat here. If you're a berserker, you want to focus strength, right? Nothing stops a berserker from casting a spell, right? Nothing stops them from grabbing like a catalyst and casting a spell. They're not the best equipped for it, but they can do it. And that's what matters. Sorry, my eyeball is... there we go. Yeah. Same like any like large weapon. You're just not going to be the best equipped for it. The only things that you're locked out of are anything that's like a trait or a skill for a class. You can only use your vocations, traits, and skills. And that's just kind of like the hand that you've been dealt. So this way it's like, oh, thank you so much for the water, the boy. Appreciate it. This way the system kind of works in a way where it's like, hey, you as a character, you can you have a lot of like freeform ability to do whatever you want, but the kind of hand that you've been dealt is going to kind of guide you towards this option, and then it lets you like dabble. The thing that I really wanted was for characters to be flexible in nature. I want characters to be flexible, so it's like, hey, well, you know, if I want to cast spells, if I want to be a berserker, and it's like I want a little bit of spells just like for my build or whatever, what I think would work for the character, I have that. So yeah. Anyway, so my intention was having skill and spell slot limits, and I think I was gonna have that initially tied to your mind, I believe is what the stat is called. Yeah. It's gonna have it be your mind. Nicholas. Toby. Hello. What is up? But yeah, I think I was thinking about tying it to your mind stat. My exam results just got out. Oh, Anja? What'd you get? I need to know. I'm drumming. The drum roll is going. I don't know if it's being picked up. It's not. I have to talk. I think it's being picked up while I'm drumming or while I'm talking. So you get it only while I'm talking, and only for the little bit I'm speaking. If you can hear it at all, maybe. My lowest is 74% being Latvian, 77 for maths, and 88 for English. That's crazy. This year, that's a real dude. That's the real dude. Yeah, let's go. Woo! 10 out of 10. Love to see it. Love to hear it. Mwah. Mwah. Fantastico. Oh my god, hi other friends. But yeah. So my intention was I want to have it tied up to mind. Because then naturally more like mind and thusly skill focused classes are going to be able to have more skills slash spells loaded up at a time. No, I think I'm fine with that. Yeah, I think that works. I'm outside walking my dog and jumping around, but it was really windy and the nature decided to hit me with a branch. Nature's such a hater. Nature is a hater. Nature hates you. Don't let it keep you down, though. You're better than nature. You are a force of nature yourself. You hear me? You hear me, King? But yeah. Beat up nature. Beat it up. Beat it up. Poison the ocean. Throw trash in the ocean. Burn down trees. Yeah. 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 Rah! Tell me more about this tabletop. Of course, of course. Want me to show? Basically, just a rules light. I hazard to call it rules light. But it's my take on a kind of a D&D equivalent, where I wanted to be as the rules as simple to pick up as possible. And yeah, I still need to do a playtest because really the main reason I need to do a playtest right now. Sorry, I'm like jumping around. I'm like so everywhere in thought. Is I'm not 100% sure about this like dice system for stats. At least with the math for it. I'm surprised that's the first time that went through. Is that the first time that went through? Why is that the first time? At nearly 2 hours in. Okay. Weird. Weird, Stream Elements. You're being weird. Because I was doing some tests on the math, and I think the math was a little weird. Also, it's like near impossible to get a failure in this system, so I have to change the numbers on this. I fear. But yeah. So very enthusiastic about is this me talking about burning down trees and throwing trash in the ocean? I think I might have to. I think I'm gonna favorite that one later on. Let me copy link. You were so hyper that your mic cut. Did it cut out? Oh, that sucks. I didn't even realize how loud it was getting. I think it was the plosives. The plosives really like fucking it up. I gotta up my mic game. I gotta up my audio game. I'm not the best. I'm not the best. It gets better. There's better people out there. I gotta really embrace just letting it get loud. I got a compressor on. I think the compressor. I think it makes. I'll figure it out if compressing it makes more sense than garbling it. So we'll find out. What are my targets on that? Actually, now that I think, what are my targets on that? Now that I think about it, let me just remove all the mic filters. You want all the mic filters off? I can do that. I can do that really quick. 1 second. Let me also hear myself because I'm curious how this is gonna sound. Yeah, yeah. No mic filters. Monitor and output. Yeah. So I can hear myself. I can hear myself now. All right. Can everyone still hear me? Love and bolts. Can I be heard? Can I be heard? Nicholas, did you watch Brandon's news? I didn't. I saw you linked it. I have not seen it yet. No, we can't hear you. Anyways, I haven't seen it yet. All right, one second. So first thing I have here is a compressor. I'm gonna turn that off. So that definitely makes a slight difference, I think. If I get really loud, well, I haven't turned everything off yet. I haven't turned everything off. Watch it live on stream. Yeah, sure. Give me a second. We got to do this bit first. We got to do this bit first. So if I get really loud now, like really really loud, it should be, yeah. But now that I've turned the compressor back, if I get really loud now, I turn down. I become quieter. I should be compressed. I should be still limited to negative 60 dB. So sorry, apologies on the getting too loud. I don't know why that was so loud. Strange. Yeah. Okay, so after this, it's so weird, like hearing myself, like while I'm doing this. I'm so not used to it. After that, I have an upward compressor, and I have that because quiet. So that does a lot of like heavy lifting. Yeah. Which I don't think I'm. Why am I? Oh my god! What is up with my audio? That's so weird. I could like adjust my levels. I guess I could adjust my levels a little bit, to pick things up. But well, it is what it is. So there's no that. We'll turn off noise suppression. And I don't think anything's gonna come through. But my fan, you can hear it a little bit when I bring it over. I know, I'm so quiet. I broke Nick by asking him to turn off mic filters. No, you didn't break me. I'm fine. I have a 3-brand equalizer in this filter stack, but there's nothing there. And then I have the limiter, but I don't think I'm getting loud enough for the limiter effect. If I turn on the upward compressor, now I could get really loud. I could get really loud. I'm gonna turn on noise suppression because that deals with, you can. So I don't know why it's not always working, but you can hear my fan a little bit when it's off, when my noise suppression is off, as you would expect. So I just have it, and that cleans up the audio just a little tiny bit. Why does it sound like I still have some kind of compressor on it? I shouldn't. Maybe I don't need a full compressor. Oh, I do actually, now that I think about it. Weird. I'm gonna, full stack goes back on. We get all the audio back. Water boy, I will water boy. There we go. I can no longer hear myself. All the filters are back on. Redeemed, read an unusual fact. Oh my goodness. You weren't here for it. So basically, normally I'll just recount this. Normally I'll read it from a book that I have called Book of Unusual... The Book of Unusual Knowledge by some editorial company, I don't remember. Recently, Uni gifted me the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows for my for our anniversary. So I've just been reading through sections from that. So we'll continue from where we left off. Vimodalan, the fear that originality is no longer possible. And then this looks to have like an affirmation, maybe, I think. You are unique and you are surrounded by billions of other people just as unique as you. Each of us is different with some new angle on the world. So what does it mean if the lives were busy... if the lives were busy shaping by hand, all end up looking the same. We all spread out, looking around at scraps of frontier, trying to capture something special, something personal. But when you gather all that scattered snapshots side by side, the results are often uncanny. There is some close-up of an eye, the same raindrops on a window, the same selfie in the side view mirror, the airplane wingtip, the pair of bare legs stretched out in a beach chair, the loopy rosette of milk in a latte, The same meals are photographed again and again, the same moments pinched between fingers, the same waterfalls sunset after sunset. It should be a comfort that we're not so different, that our perspectives so neatly align. If nothing else, it's a reminder that we live in the same world. Still, it makes you wonder how many of your snapshots could easily be recreated or replaced by 1,000 identical others. If there's any value left in taking yet another photo of the moon, or the Taj Mahal, or the Eiffel Tower, is a photograph just a kind of souvenir to prove you've been someplace, like a prefabricated piece of furniture that you happen to have assembled yourself? It's all right if we tell the same jokes we've all heard before. It's all right if we keep remaking the same movies. It's all right if we keep saying the same phrases to each other as if we had never been said before. Even when you look back at the earliest known work of art in existence, you'll find a handprint stenciled on the wall of a cave, not just one, but hundreds overlapping and indistinguishable from the other. To be sure, you and I and billions of others will leave our mark on this world we've inhabited, just like the billions who came before us. But if, in the end, we find ourselves with nothing left to say, nothing new to add, idly tracing outlines left by others long ago, it'll be as if we were never here at all. This, too, is not an original thought. As the poet once said, the powerful play goes on, but you will the powerful play goes on, and you will contribute a verse. What else is there to say? When you get your cue, you say your line. This is a very long fact. It is a very long fact. This some of the definitions I think here are longer than other ones. And this comes from the Swedish looks like vemod for tender sadness or pensive melancholy, as well as Vendalen, the name of a Swedish town, which is a kind of thing that IKEA usually borrows to give names to their products. Pronounced Vemodalen. I zoned out. Give me another. Up top, dap me up. Hell yeah. Oh, you guys want another? You can give another. You can get another. You get a single definition, a single straight definition. For loose left, adjective, feeling a sense of loss upon finding a good book, sensing the weight of the back cover, locking away the lives of characters you've gotten to know so well. From loose leaf, a removable sheet of paper, plus left, departed. There you go. That's your unusual facts. Or they should turn down the timer on that one. I feel like the timer's really long on that one. I think it's like 30, 40 minutes. Yeah, it's probably fine. It's fine at the time it is. Anyway, where was I? Where was I? What was I talking? Which bit was I on at this point? Oh, we were on the volumes. That's right. And you wanted the live watch. 1 second, I have to open up your server. Oh, that's Mango server. Is it under media? No. Is it under news? There it is. Yeah, why? That's right, because it. Oh. It's so peak. It's so peak. It's, it's such a good strategy. Oh, there goes the TNT. I recorded all of this back in December. Oh, you won like that. That was... Okay. It's such a good swarm tactic. I love it. I hope they all. Oh my god. It's such an effective strategy. Huh? Oh, that was in the video. I thought Luff joined for a second. It's the Guardian Kit didn't get nerfed. Our 10% win rate is safe. Don't subscribe. I have no redeeming qualities yet. Take Luff instead. Oh wait, I know because I'm. This is my VOD account. I was like, why am I not subscribed to? Why am I not subscribed? I'm not subscribed to Brandon. It's because I'm on my VOD account. Tee hee. I'm subscribed on my normal account. It's peak. Huh. Everything moved. It scared me. Oh yes, that's right. The skill spell slot limit. That's what we were on. Um, I think for now, it's because he doesn't. It's also because he doesn't alert his subscribers. I gotta go to work. No problem, no problem. Enjoy work. Hopefully, it's a great experience, wonderful time, and you have a fantastic day. And there's no very annoying customers. I always hope there's never very annoying customers. Those are the worst kind of customers. Bye bye, Bolts. Yeah. So what are the negatives? So it's a limitation that we place on the player, where it's like, hey, I can only have so many things in my back pocket at once. I can only have so many skills and stuff. However, it comes if I base it off of the mind stat. So let's say a berserker who traditionally, right, would choose their D6 to be in magic or the mind. They might go finesse, but let's say they'll do mind in their circumstance. Um, or the what is it? The fighter equivalent. The wayfarer. Wayfarer? Yeah, wayfarer. Um, ooh, their whole thing is strength finesse. And if they're doing strength finesse, definitely their D6 should be in mind. In that case, they have a limit of, if I have it set to like, hey, I only have, this much, you only have this many slots, and they're all based around like the exact, you'd only have skill like 6 skills. Which for Wayfarer especially, they're a very skill heavy class. All of the classes are gonna be very like skill heavy. And it heavily limits them. I could give each class their own like skill library stat to balance that out, but that gets like really nitty gritty, and I think it steps away from the ease of use that I have in mind for all the classes. So I won't do that. I'll keep that off the table. I'll shift 5. Uh, let's see. Negative focus, which brings Penalties. Okay, so for context, using your skills and spells, we've gone over this. It costs FP, your focus points. Um, Theoretically, do I let you go negative FP in the same way you can kind of go? You can get exhaustion in D&D as like a negative, and what would be a good thing? Like, are we talking like, hey, I'm only limited to what is it? Oh, I like this one. What's this from? Oh, it's from Deltarune. Makes sense. It's a good song. I like the vibes of it. If we only have so much, um, what was I saying? Let me flip back over. This was about the negative FP. That's right. So if you have negative FP set to work where the person can just keep expending FP infinitely, um, the consequences have to be like really high. Um, to the point where I imagine it's not really worth it unless you have like most of the time it's not going to be an issue, right? Unless you have the fallout be like really quick. Where it's like if you get like 6 FP deep, you're already in like a pretty major um penalty. That's the word. You're getting like a really major penalty at like 6 F, like negative 6 FP. Because if it's like, oh, you get to like negative 24, for example. See that one gone? It's gone again. What? You just went like 30 minutes ago after not going for 2 hours. How strange. How strange you are, Stream Elements. Uh, yeah. If you can just keep going, it has to have a really quick fall off. I find. Um. Well, not like a super super quick one. Actually, no. If you can only cast if you have an amount of FP and then going negative, is just like you're overcast, but then you're done. That one has to have a quick fall off because then it's more of a punishment if you cast a very high FP cost spell at a low FP level rather than the other way. The problem with the other way is that your FP pool size increases drastically if you can just keep casting while negative. Because you can just keep casting in like as long as the penalty is not too much, right? Then it's good. But then it's like, oh, you have to make a really heavy penalty. And then if you make a really heavy penalty, then you've got to, you know, like they have to hit it hard and eventually get back to it's got to scale up really quickly with that like logical kind of train. And if it scales up really quickly, then there's no reason to keep casting when you're negative. So that goes back to only cast when you're positive. So you can only cast when you're positive. And if you only cast when you're positive, what's the logic? It's a penalty for basically like overexerting yourself, essentially. You mentally fry yourself in such a way where it's like it's a problem. And where it's like you really want it to be worth it at that point. Hmm. I do like this. I'm gonna update that one because I don't want to sit on this one too for long because that's got a lot of nuance to it. I think. So consider negative. I'll make this to an add. Add negative focus, which brings penalties. Um, can't use skill. Can't expend focus while negative. Expend. I had the word I wanted. And then shield proficiencies. What are my rules for shields right now? What do I have? They're over here in the fucking playtest too. What am I looking at? So your shield is gonna have a die value. Raise shield action reduces incoming damage by shield die. Simple. What would a proficiency do based on that rule set alone? What would proficiency use? Not really much, because you're not rolling a skill. You're not rolling a check. There's no check there. You're just rolling a flat value that's just negative damage. And I think negative damage. That's already a really busted system. So no shield proficiencies. I'll shift 5. That might need to get refined, but I'm fine not having shield proficiencies as a thing. I accidentally pressed Control B. I had to check if it was bolded. Starting spell list. Which starting skills? I do have. I think I meant to put which starting traits. I've got all of these right here. I also got to organize this better. We've been on rules for a while. I'm gonna go back over to more creative stuff. Because I like the creative stuff. That's weird. So you have the gods, and because this is such a the gods take a very important step. There's a section of worship under the world. Creatures have titles depending on the blessing and the cursing given to them by the gods. They are known as cherished if blessed by every god, favored if blessed by at least one god, penitent if a mix of blessing and curses, abhorred if cursed by at least one god, and forsaken if cursed by every god. Once again, these like sliding scales of 5 show up a lot in my work for some reason. If someone has no blessings or curses, they are called Orphic. Oh my god! Hi, Uni! Hi, Uni! Thank you for being an early sprout. Hi! I think I'm fine with this. I like what this is. Nice and early. Nice and early. Only 2 hours and 19 minutes. I mean, yeah, fashionably on time. Scarabs can use blank as a symbol. A fun fact: this symbol is called a scarab. It's also it's a it was kind of like a placeholder symbol in like early computing for just any currency. So you could have like, oh yeah, two of those, or like two that. I don't know how. Ooh, I don't know how you're supposed to put a number. Like that? I feel like it's like that. That's gotta be it. Yeah, I think that's it. But yeah, it's just like a placeholder for like any currency, right? Because not every currency is gonna have its symbol, and so you just scarab. Adventures and Soldiers. I think I want to work on Divinity right now. Because right now each so each of the gods have a title, which is part of their like it's partly related to like why they have such a they get worshipped because they reincarnate. They are in fact just such old beings. Um that then it's like it's worth it that they get a title. um and they incarnate. My idea is like, oh, they just kind of incarnate into like different monsters or races every time they do. For example, one could theoretically incarnate into like one of the mortal races, which I could change some of these now that I think about it, because this current incarnation thing was a holdover. Because I decided before that I was like, before this version where they reincarnate, I had the idea that they would just the gods existed in just the form of monsters. But I think I'm liking the idea that they just kind of incarnate. Um, but because I like that system, this could be whatever, and I feel like these can get changed. They can be more recent. They could be more different species, different races. They could be a mortal race. I think Variathis, if anyone, would be a mortal race. But I need to figure out specifically what these two titles mean. Because Kirigis is just giant, right? Just massive. Eternal. They don't shed any of their divinity through this like reincarnation process. The Shepherd and the Avarice, I'm not really sure. Because I again, these terms have gone through like they've been through so many cycles that it's like fuck. Genesis, the first one, forlorn, low amount of divinity. But what does this play? That I don't want to do another one where they gain. Oh, they gain divinity. Oh, because we got one that loses, one that gains. And we got one that doesn't lose, one that's also doesn't lose. They gain divinity. Like, it would be the only one that gains divinity. That doesn't sound right. You know what I mean? It's like, it goes against the concepts. Oh, you know what? Um, though I do have an idea for the shepherd. If I want to like stick with the idea of like, oh, it's a shepherd, right? It like herds. Um, with how I was doing the concept of demons and devils, right? Let's see the site of their reincarnations are what's the word I'm looking for? Mice on Venus. The site of the reincarnations. Basically, my thought process. They still shed divinity, as all else do. However, their divinity, like specifically, it'll almost like trail them. And like they just have a natural proclivity to creating new demons and devils. With their shedded divinity. Birth of demons. The site of the reincarnation are home to the birth of demons and devils as their is not provoked, perceived, predisposed. I'll just go demons and devils. Um, the reincarnations. The site of the reincarnation birthed demons and devils from their shed divinity. I like that. I like that. I like that wording. It's good wording. I still don't know what for avarice. And forlorn, I'm still questioning on whether or not I want to have. Because I like the idea of it's just they just have a low amount of divinity. Forlorn, it makes a lot of sense. Because this was from the title was from like earlier concepts, where it was just like they were hungry for knowledge. They were hungry for knowledge was the idea. And them being hungry, like, and I still want that to be the case, that they're the most inquisitive of the gods, right? But I don't know how I want to imply that to their divinity. Thank you so much for the water, the boy. Um, you know what? I could have them. Oh, and thank you for the fix. That's fine. Goodness gracious. What if I have them because of their like hunger for knowledge? They reincarnate often, so they eat through their divinity. Because the idea basically being each new incarnation gives them a new perspective. It's a bit of a twist. Um, yeah. Um, they consume their divinity. They consume their divinity to expedite reincarnation. They reincarnate, but they remember everything in the pursuit. No, no. So all of them remember all of their stuff. Like they're. I say reincarnation in the sense of they get a new incarnation. So basically, what separates the gods from like the devils and the demons is that the gods almost own the divinity that they're made of, and they do lose some of it through reincarnation. However, um, they have the most true reincarnation, where it's like they come back, right? Devils and demons, on the other hand, they lose their divinity through time. Um, and they do eventually die. Like they lose all their divinity. It sheds and it scatters. That specific, most so for devils, that devil's divinity, like that consciousness, that persona is gone. It dies with them, right? There might be someone who's similar, right? But that's in the same way that there can be people who are similar. And then demons just don't really have a persona in the first place. So gods reincarnate. The avarice specifically hunts like specifically tries to reincarnate. Um, they consume their divinity to expedite reincarnation. Yeah. Set the reincarnation. Birth demon devils from their shed divinity. I'll put their reincarnation to the divinity inclines to forming devils and demons when they reincarnate. I think is what I like. The divinity inclines to forming devils and demons when they reincarnate. So gods are more akin to phoenixes, while devils are ravens, and demons are just songbirds in a way. I'm not sure what you mean by in the sense of ravens and songbirds. You'll have to explain. You'll have to explain that a little bit. Or do you mean like you're just saying that ravens and songbird, like demons and devils, are just kind of normal? They don't. They're normal birds. They don't come back, kind of thing. That's what you mean. Why are you saying it again? It's only been 15. It was much less time. It's only been 20 minutes now. That's so weird. So strange. Strange. Ravens have knowledge and can do their best to survive with what they have. Mm. Kind of then, yeah. Because gods they retain all of their information. So yes, a la Phoenix. Uh, devils carry like a persona. They have knowledge. I also like what I did with devils. You weren't here for it. Basically, I still because I rewrote their stuff with it. They still do trades, uh, like they initially did. However, when they use their instead of like just kind of trading, they convert some of their divinity. Like they take their divinity and use that to kind of like complete their end of the trade, their end of the deal. And then yeah, demons just kind of do their thing of just embodying a concept. It's the embodiment, I like that, of a natural concept of the world. Exist as an embodiment of a natural concept. Of a concept of the world. Endlessly spewing forth an overwhelming aura into the surroundings. Yeah, I like that. All right. Not much has gotten done, but I feel like my brain has sorted a lot of stuff. That's important. I like sorting stuff. Sorting stuff is good. I think I'm gonna call stream here because I haven't actually had lunch yet, and I should probably eat lunch. It's a little late, but I should probably eat lunch. Do I actually have anyone to raid out to? Um, I'm not see. I could raid to Apathy, I guess. I could raid to Apathy. Wait, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? I don't care about TD student banking. I'm not even a student anymore. I still do have to head out now, so I won't be able to raid. No. Oh, if you're gonna be gone, we don't really have a lot of people to raid. Um, I don't really have a lot of people to raid. I don't remember who you are. Who are you? Who are you? Sure, I guess we'll raid over to them. I don't know who they are though. I feel kind of bad. um, wait, have they only been up for a minute 42? What? Is that what that said? Paimon jump scare. Oh no, that was an hour. Okay. Yeah, sure, I'll raid over to them. Why not? Alright. Uh Boom. This is muted. Alright, everybody. Alright, everybody. We're gonna be raiding over to Technic Uwu. I do not remember following them. Like but apparently I do. So we're gonna go say hi. We're gonna treat them with lots of love, lots of respect. We're all gonna have a gay old time, a gay old time. All right. Uh, make sure if you liked what you saw, make sure to join the Discord. All right, all right. I'm not gonna keep you here for too much longer. All right.